As 2024 begins, we thought it would be fun to give you a glimpse into what cards are on our radar going into a new year, what trips we already have planned, and what trips we're thinking about adding to our schedule. Listen up to hear what you can expect from these travel hacking moms in 2024. Welcome to the Travel Hacking Mom Show. We are three moms who've discovered how to leverage credit card welcome offers to get hundreds of thousands of dollars in travel expenses for nearly free. We've used credit card points and miles to take vacations to places like Hawaii, Paris, Greece, the Maldives, Italy, and so much more. And the best part? We each still have an 800 plus credit score. Imagine being able to book a vacation without having to check your bank account. It's totally possible, and we're here to show you how. Hey, I'm Alex.
And I'm Pam, Alex's mom.
And I'm Jess. We are travel hacking moms.
Today, we're talking all about 2024, including the plans we've already made and the ones we're considering. We tend to book pretty far in advance to secure award availability, so we all have trips booked for well into 2024. But first, let's start with what cards are on our radar for 2024.
Yeah, I'll kick it off. This is going to come as a shock to both of you, but it's 2024, might be another year of the inks. I've got another ink on my radar, and I definitely want my husband to open another one because it's been a while since he opened one. So I'm hoping we can squeeze at least one more ink in there, possibly two, not sure. I was also targeted for a $150K Amex Business Platinum. So I know that the gravy train may have dried up for you, Pam, but it's looking like they might be targeting me now for this gravy train, which is a new because I was in Amex pop-up jail for a very long time. And I finally got out. And so that's another one that is on my radar, that $150K Business Platinum. I already have one, but I got an email targeting me for another one with no lifetime language. So that's on my radar. And then I want to get the Venture X business card for my husband at some point, but I'm still thinking those ink cards will probably be first while those offers are still elevated. What about you, Alex?
So likewise, I'm hoping to get one more ink. I actually just got one at the end of 2023, and so I'm hoping to have Mitch get one at the beginning of 2024. Venture X business card for me. He got it last year. So I'm planning on getting that for me. And then my plan is to kind of just see what limited time offers come about. I don't really have any other specific ones on my radar. I will just see what happens. I would love if Amex would decide to, send me one of those targeted offers. So crossing my fingers that they'll decide they love me. But that's all that I've got planned. I'm just hoping that, some of those limited time welcome offers were really good last year. And that's kind of how my strategy for last year was just kind of watching for those. So we'll see. I'm hoping 2024 will be another good year. What about you, Mom?
Well, on our last episode, I talked about how Chase doesn't like me right now. So I'm hoping that, later in the year, they're going to decide they like me. But so in the meantime, I'm hoping to get another ink for my husband. And then I'm going to go. I actually have a card in reconsideration that they had me call about. And it sounds like Chase might let me have this card. This is a card I never in a million years thought I would want. And that is the United Club card. And I live near Denver. We have amazing lounge access, but they have just redone the United Club lounges. And right now I can only go twice a year with my Explorer card. And they are really nice lounges. And the thing that I really like about them is I generally fly United domestically because I try to keep my elite status with them. And there's two of them in the B terminal where I fly out of. And so it's so convenient not to have to go to one of the other terminals. So I'm just thinking, one, I fly United a lot, so getting those miles would be great. but being able to see if that's a card I'd like to keep long term just for the lounge access is something I want to check out because they're really nice lounges. And in the past, the United lounges were so crummy. I never even used them for my Explorer card. I would go use them at a United lounge somewhere else because they were just ugly and not nice. I went into them recently and I was like, oh my goodness, now you're talking United. It was good. And I mean, I really definitely go to the Capital One lounge a lot because I love that one too. Just got to go through that. But yeah, I never thought I'd say that. But
What's really nice about the United Club one too is the guest privileges are really good. You can bring dad with you, and it's not like you're going to Centurion Lounge like, oh, I can't bring a guest, So
right.
and so it's a nice one, people, if they have kids, you can bring your children with you. So it makes sense. It makes sense for you.
It does. They're huge lounges. The other card that I think I'm going to get is for my husband. I'm going to get him the United Explorer card. He had it before and we got rid of it. And so just because we fly United a lot, it makes a lot of sense for us to get that card. So that's probably the only co-branded card that we always keep. So that's my plan. So one of the things we wanted to talk about now is the points and miles trips that we've already booked for 2024. And yes, we've booked way into 2024. And we do that because we want to get the really good deals. It's not the only way to get good deals, though, because they're sometimes booking last minute work. Sometimes there will be a great deal that will come out that we'll hear about. So although we have booked, this isn't probably going to be the only places we're going to go, because when other things come out or one of us sees a good offer, we're probably going to book some other trips. So Jess, hit it off. You got a lot planned already.
Yeah. I don't have 2025 booked yet, though. So I do have some restraint. But yeah, going to Japan soon with both of my stepdaughters. We are going to Tokyo and Kyoto. Cannot wait for that. And then in February, I'm going back to the Andas Papagayo with my mom and my daughter. Still one of my favorite Hyatts. So I'm excited to go back to Costa Rica. For spring break, we are headed to Scotland, hitting up the Kimpton Charlotte Square that Pam raved about in Edinburgh. So cannot wait to stay there. And then later in March, we're doing a little THM trip to Singapore and Kuala Lumpur. So I'm really looking forward to that one too. Have never been to either of those places. We're doing a little Hyatt Regency Hill Country for the eclipse in April. And then my husband and I are headed to Bora Bora in May, staying at the Conrad, using some of those Hilton free night certificates. Then the summer kicks off my Taylor Swift tour of Europe.
I love it. Jess is following Taylor around Europe.
So first, I'm going to see her in Milan, and then after the concert, going to Lake Como because I cannot go to Milan and not go stay at the Grand Hotel Victoria. So I'm doing that, and then in August, hopping over to London to see her at Wembley, and then going to stay in London for a few days with my mom, do some sightseeing. In September, I'm headed to Napa. My husband and I, with a few other couples, we are going to stay at the Calistoga Motor Lodge. That is not content you would ever get from Alex or Pam because it is wine country. So I'm taking one for the team, and I'm going to review some wine country Hyatt options. And then for my daughter's fall break, we currently have the Grand Hyatt Kauai booked. I'm not 100% sure that that is where we are going to end up, but I went ahead and booked it just in case. All right, Alex, what about you?
Okay, so starting off in January, my husband and I will be celebrating our 15-year wedding anniversary, which makes me feel really old. But Mom, does it make you feel old since I'm your youngest child?
Yes.
It makes you feel older.
Yeah, let's not talk about it anymore.
So
Pam is going to be coming and staying with the kids. Best grandma ever.
And the best travel hack you have.
Well, one of the best, because if I didn't have the points, I wouldn't be going either.
That's true.
Second best.
Yes.
Second
Okay.
best. So yes, that's how we're kicking off the year. I just booked a trip to Disneyland, which Mom, I was gonna text you about, and I was like, I'll just tell her about it on the podcast. But we're going in March. So far it's just me and one of my sisters. We're not exactly sure which of her kids will be able to make it, depending on what's going on with school with them. My sister Kelly's kind of on the fence, depending on what's going on with her kids. Pam, Mom, you are more than welcome to come, and we would love it. But I know last time you were like, I'm not doing Disneyland again.
Her face is not really saying that she's having FOMO right now about
No,
this
it doesn't.
Disneyland trip.
But you know what? The Disneyland part I don't have FOMO about, but hanging out with the grandkids,
I know.
I do.
Well,
So
and let me tell you this part. This might sway you. The first night, we're going on so how this kind of came about is Breeze Airways is now flying out of this little airport close by my house, or, closer to my house than the Salt Lake International. And it's flying to Santa Ana, John Wayne. And it was because they just launched it, the flights were $38 a piece. So 4 of us are flying for, I don't remember what it was, $300 and something. It was very cheap for those round trip flights. So I was like, I've never flown out of this little airport. It might be kind of fun. This is a direct flight, cheap. And so I actually haven't told my kids yet, but they're going to be really excited about that. So, but here's the part that I was going to tell you that's really cool.
Oh, I was like, this is not swaying Pam to fly Breeze Airways.
I kind of got going on a
Pam, they're staying at the Hyatt House. Has that swayed you? Hyatt House.
No. We're not there yet. I actually forgot where my story was going. Thanks for bringing me back around. So we are going, and the first night we are staying at the Hyatt Regency Huntington Beach. And we're doing the whole first day. So we fly in on Saturday, and we're going to stay the night. And on Sunday, we're just going to hang out all day at the Hyatt Regency, swim, go to the beach, enjoy their amazing breakfast. And then that night, we'll get an Uber over to Anaheim, and we'll stay for 3 nights at the Hyatt House. So I don't know if Hyatt Regency sways you a little bit to be able to have a beach day with the grandkids, but if it does, we'd love to have you.
I will definitely be considering it.
Okay. I mean, that helped, right?
It did help.
Yeah. Okay. Next up, Singapore with these 2 lovely ladies. And then spring break, we're going to be staying at the Park Hyatt Aviara in Carlsbad, so right by San Diego. My parents are coming, and kind of planning to do, we've been to Southern California a bunch, but we haven't done a lot of the San Diego activities. So hoping to do the San Diego Zoo Safari Park, go to the beach. We've done Legoland, and the kids loved it, but I'm like, we're going to be so close. It's literally, right, Jess? Isn't it so close to the hotel? So I'm like, maybe we'll go there. I know my mom and dad are like, probably don't want to go there. But we'll see. We'll play it by ear.
Pam can go to the spa at the Park Hyatt while
That's
y'all
true.
go to Legoland.
That's true.
Good idea.
And then in June, I had to think about it for a second. In June, my husband and I are going to Greece. My mom is going to once again come out and watch the kids. So we're still kind of putting the finishing touches on this trip. We have the Grand Hyatt Athens booked, and we have the Canaves ES Suites in Santorini booked, and we have our flights home booked. We just don't have flights there booked. So I'm just waiting because nothing is looking good, and I am like, we have to fly business class. So I'm just looking every day to see if something pops up.
Something will pop up. You've got enough time.
Yeah, I got enough time. It's early, so we'll be good. Next, we have a trip to Florida with all of my side of my family, so my siblings and their kids, my parents. This was Pam who orchestrated this all. So I know that that's going to be an amazing trip. We're actually going a little bit early and going to check out the Hyatt Place Panama City Beach because we've heard that that's a really nice Hyatt place, right? It's literally right on the beach. So I'm excited to check that one out. And then in October, I've booked the Grand Hyatt Kauai, but like Jess, I'm not sure if we're going to go or not, but because I can just easily cancel that stay and get those points back in my Hyatt account, I figured, well, why not? We'll just book this and see kind of what life is looking at that point and if we want to do that. So what about you, Mom?
Well, January, I start off my travels with a trip that was solely booked around an airplane flight.
This sounds
Yeah.
like 2023 again.
It does, doesn't it? So
I'm having deja vu.
yeah, so there was a really, really good deal that came out for Etihad Apartments. Now, if you guys remember, I flew about a year ago on Singapore Suites, the most amazing flight that I've ever flown. It even was better than Emirates First Class, although that's the second. Well, Etihad Apartments is supposed to be very similar to Singapore Suites. So this deal came out from London to Abu Dhabi, and I believe it was only 60K points that I used. And I thought, okay, well, my daughter Lindsay lives in London, so I could go see her for a few days, and then she and I can go over to Abu Dhabi. The plan was we were going to go to the Seychelles, and I was going to use some Hilton points for that. But then it turned out that it was just going to be hours to get there. And I thought, do I want to get on another flight for 5 hours? Or Abu Dhabi, the weather is good there. They have some really nice resorts there. They have some nice beaches. And we just decided, let's just hang out in Abu Dhabi. We're staying at the Park Hyatt, Abu Dhabi. I've already put a suite night. You guys, I
Suite
forget.
Upgrade Award.
Yeah, I get confused between Marriott's their little acronyms and Hyatt's, and so yeah. So I've got a Suite Night Upgrade Award for us there, and then we're also going to the Grand Hyatt Abu Dhabi, and I did a Suite Night Upgrade Award there too. So we are going to have an amazing time. It's not good weather here in Colorado there, so it'll be just really nice to relax. Then I am going in later in January to the Cabo Waldorf Astoria, and I'm taking this is my daughter's, not all together trips, I guess, that I'm doing. So I'm taking one of my other daughters to that because my husband decided that he wanted to watch some basketball games that some grandkids have. So I'm taking her. I'm supposed to go to Jerusalem and Jordan on a tour in March. I don't see that happening. And so that's opening up some slots for me. So my daughter, Kelly, I told her that I do some points and miles and we're going to go somewhere. We may go to the Roatan Kimpton. I've been wanting to do that. Or we may go to the Secrets Moschee. I'm not sure.
Or Disneyland. I mean, that's a pretty comparable swap, right? I mean,
yeah, exactly. And then I'm going with these knuckleheads to Singapore. And this is the crazy thing. We booked this because there was this amazing deal that came out on Singapore in premium economy. And I thought, okay, I can do premium economy. That's fine. And then I just got back from the Maldives and I made the mistake of walking back to check out premium economy from my business class seat, saw the seat I'd be sitting in and thought, no, I can't do that. So and there is not a business class seat available. There are some that are waitlisted. And that means that if they open up more availability or someone decides not to fly in business class, then that could become available. So everybody cross your fingers that Pam gets that. I don't know if I can do the other. I'm old. I ache. It's going to be a tough one, but I'm going to do it because I want to go to Singapore really bad. And then we're going to Kuala Lumpur, and it just sounds fascinating. I'm just really hoping I can get a business class seat. Then in April, we're going to, with Alex and her family, to the Park Hyatt Aviara. My husband and I are going in later in April. Part of this will be over my birthday. We're going to Africa. I'm really excited. I've been to Africa on a safari before. But this time we're going to the JW Marriott, and this is entirely on points. So I'm really excited to see how this turns out. It's very new. When it opened up, you could get a night for $70K, and so I booked 4 nights, got the 5th night free. Really excited about that. And then we're going to go over to the island of Mauritius. Actually, before we do that, before we go to the safari, so that's something I'm very excited about. That
And
trip.
that lodge is in Kenya, right?
It is.
Okay, I am so jealous of that trip. I cannot wait to hear about that.
Yeah, I'm really excited about that, and a lot of people, that's a harder thing to book on points is a safari. It has me thinking, like, maybe I should have some Marriott points in reserve. I have some, but I don't have enough for that in reserve just in case somehow this availability pops up again for a low price, because that is seriously incredible. I remember when you booked that, I was like, "Oh, shoot, I wish I had more Marriott points and I'd book that."
Yeah, I'm really excited about that one, and I've heard that Mauritius is supposed to be gorgeous, so it's going to be a really interesting trip. Then I'm home for about 9 days, and I go to Greece, and going with a friend who has been wanting to go there for forever. So we're going to Santorini and Crete, and then we are hopping over to Vienna, just because I want to stay in a certain hotel, and that's the Park Hyatt Vienna, because I have heard that that is one of the most beautiful Park Hyatts, and so that's been on my radar. So, yeah, I can get into this FOMO deal, where or planning a trip around a hotel or planning a trip around a flight. Then, as Alex said, in July, we're going to Florida. And then in September, my sister and I are going back to Italy. We're going to Rome, going back to Lake Como. She and I also are going to the Grand Victoria Concept and Spa. That is really one of my favorite hotels. I really loved it. Because we weren't able to make Cinque Terre on our last trip, we are also going to Cinque Terre. And this is a light schedule for me so far. I'm sure I am trying to keep it lighter this year, trying to do, like one trip a month. But I'm sure it will start. I've got space to do some more. So
Well, I have no doubt you will fill that space.
I know. So anyway, what trip are you guys most looking forward to out of these trips that you have planned?
For me, Japan and Bora Bora have been on my bucket list for a very long time. So those are the two that I'm most looking forward to. And of course, the THM Singapore trip. And Pam, I really hope that you get that business class. You get off the wait list for business class. But if you don't, it's going to make for some really good content, because you'll be stuck with Alex and I in premium economy, and we're going to make you make reels, and it's just going to be amazing.
I'm going to be crying in my seat in the back. So one of the things that I'm really looking forward on that trip, though, Jess, is when I travel, I'm always the one in charge, unless I'm with Alex and stuff. And so
Well, I don't know about that. I still kind of let you be in charge
Yeah,
when
you
we
do.
travel
So I'm
together.
always
Let's
in
be honest.
charge.
I'm the youngest.
Yeah.
I'm the youngest in the family, so I will gladly delegate or not delegate, but let you lead.
Yeah. Well, I just want to give Jess a heads up on our Singapore Kuala Lumpur trip, that I know she does these great spreadsheets, and she's really good at planning activities. And I'm passing my torch of always being in charge onto you, and I'm planning not to plan anything. Just so
I got you.
Yeah, book us some Airbnb experiences. That's Jess's go-to.
We're going to do some Airbnb experiences. We're going to get a photographer to take some photos of us. We're going to go to a spa. So I got you covered.
I love it. So you know what? Business class or not, how can I miss this trip when I don't have to plan any activities? I've got to do it.
All right, Alex, what about you?
All right.
Trip you're
Well,
most looking forward to?
you know what? I wasn't so sure how excited I was for Singapore because of the flight. Only reason because of the flight. Because, like, I don't have the best back, and sitting in regular economy, even just like a short flight, like I get out of the plane, stand up, and I like takes me a minute to stand up straight.
You look
And
like an old lady.
I look like an old lady. So I'm working on strengthening my back and fixing some things. So hopefully I'll be great. Good news is these seats do recline a little more, and they do have a footrest. So I'm hoping it'll be all right. I'm gonna take some melatonin to help me get some sleep, and hopefully it'll be just dandy. But I'm gonna be checking every now and then to see if they just by chance open up more availability so I can upgrade to business class too.
Oh, we didn't tell everybody that you guys are flying back on premium economy, and there was one business class seat available, and they let the old lady have it. So I at least know going back I have business class.
Yeah, so we're doing it both ways, but I'm hopeful that Jess will keep me entertained and happy the whole way. So it'll be great. But anyways, listening to all of your ideas and making reels together on the plane and going to the spa and all the things made me feel much more excited. So it is going to be an incredible trip. That is for sure. It just might be a little dicey getting there and back because it's like how long? 16 hours?
It's like
I think
the flight there is 17 hours.
There's been times I've been like,
I just
why
did
are
it.
we doing this?
Guys,
Why
I
did we
just
do this?
did it in business class. And even in business class, it was a little rough. It's
like,
a long flight.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I'm stressed about that, but
you know what?
I've got to realize like the people do it every day and they're just fine. I will be fine. I hate being tired, and it kind of stresses me out. And then I hate jet lag, and we've just been spoiled.
Yes,
That's
we've
really
been
what it
spoiled.
comes down to.
Points and miles, that's the problem. Points and miles completely can spoil you. If you are fine flying economy and economy plus, my hint is don't jump up to business class until you get old, because it makes it really hard to go back.
Yeah.
So stay where
But it's just so long. It's 17 hours.
It is.
Okay.
It's
So moving on though, I'm super excited to go to the Waldorf Astoria with Mitch for our anniversary trip. Super excited for us to go to Greece. He has actually never been to Europe, and Santorini was one of my favorite places I've been. It was like jaw-droppingly beautiful. Just being able to look out on the caldera and see, the sea below. It was really awesome. So excited for that. And then I'm super excited to go to Florida with all of my family and to see all the cousins, have fun. That is going to be such a memorable trip. So what about you, Mom?
Well, there's two countries I could go to every single year, and I do quite often, and that's Greece and Italy. So I'm always really excited about those, going back there. Of course, I'm super excited about our trip to Florida. Just that's my favorite thing to do, is see the grandkids play together. And then I'm really excited about our trip to Africa. I can't wait to check out the JW Marriott for all of our listeners, and to just go on another safari. And I love Africa. So that sounds really fun to me. So even though we've booked a lot of trips, there are still some that we're thinking about booking. So Jess, what ones are you thinking about booking for 2024?
I don't know, because I'm pretty booked up. I guess I have some holes in my schedule in like November and December.
Is there a Taylor Swift tour any of those months?
Well, I actually am also seeing her in New Orleans in October. I can just drive. I mean, like when she announced New Orleans, I was like, okay, well, that's a no-brainer because I can just drive to New Orleans. So I do have her on the schedule in New Orleans. But yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I have that Grand Hyatt Kauai booked for my daughter's fall break, because I feel like you can never go wrong with the Grand Hyatt Kauai. But I would still love to make Iceland happen at some point if I could. We've been talking to some friends about going to London in December. I really want to go to London in December when like all the holiday decorations are up. I've been seeing TikToks of what it's like currently, and I'm like, I want to go see that. So I really want to go see London in December. So that's a possibility. And then I think we're all planning to go back to the Travel More conference this year, or I'll go back and y'all will join me.
Exactly.
But I don't know when exactly or where that's going to be. So that's kind of up in the air. But yeah, I'm like you, Pam. I'm like, okay, I'm just going to do one trip a month. But then these deals come out and I tend to get FOMO and jump on them. So I guess we'll see. What about you, Alex?
Okay, so other trips I'm thinking of booking, it would be a girls' trip with my mom and sisters. We've talked about going on one in the fall, like, early fall, the shoulder season. So we've talked about going to the Azores or Portugal. Is that kind of what we kind of landed on, Mom?
I think so. I think we were talking about maybe going to Portugal, or go to the, and I don't even know. I always call it Azores. Then I heard someone call it the Azores, so I don't know what it is.
Yeah,
But
I don't really
yeah,
know
we hear
either.
it's the Hawaii of Europe, and so that is the place that we have been talking about going to.
So we also need to plan our end of year travel hacking mom retreat for next year. So we do these every year at the end of the year to kind of set our goals for the next year and plan kind of what we want to do. So the first year we went to the Ondas Mayakoba in like Playa del Carmen, right? Is that where it is? And then this year we did Ondas Scottsdale, and so we'll have to kind of figure out where we want to go next year. I was thinking we could maybe look at like the Thompson in Palm Springs. That's going to be a new one that's opening. It's not open yet, but it should be open by then. It's kind of nice. I feel like doing somewhere that's a little closer because we go at the end of the year, and so it's a really busy time with all the holidays. So I thought, oh, that would be an fairly easy place for all of us to get to, and then we could check out the new Thompson. So
Yeah, we like Thompsons.
I love a Thompson, so I am
Mhm.
100% down with that idea.
And Palm Springs is usually, a little warmer than elsewhere that time of year. And then for sure we'll be planning some stays using points for soccer tournaments and all that. And then I would like to take my kids to one of the national parks, either Yellowstone or Zion. We've got a bunch here in Utah, and I have a fourth grader. So I'm like, we should probably try to go take advantage of that free national parks pass he has. But if we don't, we have another fourth grader coming in 2 years. We'll have another fourth grader. So no crazy rush, but I think it'd be fun if we could, at least do one of those this year.
We
Okay,
also have to plan a trip for cruise.
that's right. I
Because
forgot that. So, I mean, it's on my main list. I just forgot it for the podcast. Yeah. So my oldest, when he was 10, my mom and I took him to Washington, D.C. And then my second oldest is going to turn 10 in this month. And we're not going to take him on a trip his birthday month, which he already knows, and he's fine with that. He originally was wanting to go to Miami or something and go watch Messi play for Inter Miami, but their schedule hasn't come out. And I'm trying to convince him, like, hey, what if we went to an Inter Miami game, but when they were playing somewhere a little closer and we just did a long weekend instead of flying all the way to Miami? So we'll see what happens. He's actually super easygoing. I think if I just said, hey, what about, gave him a few options, he'd be fine. Like the other day, he was like, I said, what about if we went to New York City? He's like, I hear people rob you a lot. And I'm like, I don't know where he got that from. Maybe from Home Alone. He's been watching Home Alone, the second one, where he's lost in New York lately. And I'm like, buddy, what are they going to steal from you? You have nothing on you. You don't have a cell phone. You have yourself in a sweatshirt. Like, that's it. He's like, yeah, that's true. Okay, we could go to New York City. So we'll see. I don't know what we'll end up doing, but that is something that my mom and I are definitely going to have to plan together because she comes with us. So it's me, my mom, and then whoever's 10 gets to go on this trip. So I've asked him for ideas, but he's not that helpful. So I think it's better if I give him some ideas and then he can choose from those. Okay, what about you, Mom?
Well, I just love another fun thing that you can do because of points and miles is plan a special birthday trip, for
Oh,
one of your
totally.
kids. Yeah. Well, recently in our Award Travel Academy Next Level coaching call, we helped someone figure out where to stay and how to get to Sardinia. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Yes. And the place we found for her was so gorgeous and Sardinia looks so amazing that it's come to the top of one of the places I want to go to now, too. So that's definitely on my radar. Mallorca has always been on my radar for a long time. So that's someplace I'd like to go. And then, as I said, one of the things that I could maybe do this year, too, is the Kimpton Roatan. I love Kimptons, and that's a new one. And so I've got quite a few IHG points. I'm thinking about that. So we've talked about our plans. So I want to know, we talked on our last podcast about all the points and miles that we earned this year. What's your goals for next year? Are you going bigger? Are you staying the same? What's the plans, Jess?
So my goal for 2023 was 2 million points, just me and my husband from welcome offers. Initially, I said that was my goal again for 2024. I don't know. I mean, I'm going to say 1.5 to 2 million just because I was kind of thinking of maybe not opening as many cards this year. I know, famous last words. I'm going to be recording this in a year and be like, I got 4 million points because I opened 50 cards this year. But I opened that Freedom Unlimited with the unlimited match, and it's only for the first 12 months. And so I'm kind of like also wanting to really maximize the spend that I'm putting on that card. And so I may not rely as much this year on new cards, but who knows? I mean, I'm saying that now. That could change. So I'm going to say 1.5 to 2 million.
Okay. I'm going to say somewhere around 1 million. I finished just over 1 million for 2023. So I think that was a great amount for us. And, it worked out really great. So I think if I just keep that up somewhere around 1 million, that's what I'm aiming for again.
Yeah, that's kind of me. We tend to open up 4 to 6 cards each, my husband and I, every year. And that seems to end up being somewhere between 1 and 1.5 million. So that's kind of where I'm headed to. Again, I too just want to do a lot of points on that freedom card with that unlimited match also. So I'm feeling like I want to put a lot of spend on that card. So I have this just suddenly came to mind that I thought might be interesting for our readers. We don't have this down at all, but I thought they might be interested to hear about our stockpiles because one of the things that I think is really nice is when you have a stockpile of points, and that allows us to, when a really good deal comes up, like the Etihad Apartments that I'm booked. When a really good deal, I don't have to stop and go, oh boy, I wish I had those points. I wish I had some points and miles so I could book that. Or if, the Lake Como Grand Victoria suddenly has spots open, we can, go ahead and book it and not worry about it. So I think that having a stockpile of points and miles is really nice. That's why, we usually encourage people to keep opening up cards, getting those sign up bonuses so that whether it's to go on a great trip or to an emergency comes up or something that you've got those points. Now, I thought you might find it interesting to hear what our stockpiles look like right now. Granted, I mean, mine is crazy,
Mine's crazy too.
Yeah, and I've been
Jess
doing.
is probably not.
Yeah, Jess is a earn and burn. She's the earn and burn girl. But and I travel a lot, but I've been OCD doing this.
Well, and you tip.
start.
So a lot of times you only have to get one.
Exactly.
business
Yeah,
class.
I'm not traveling with a family. Usually, it's my husband, and then if I travel with someone else, we're splitting the cost of hotels. So I probably spend less in a year than you guys with your big families. So I it could be interesting for people to hear what our stockpiles are. So, Jess?
I actually have a pretty good stockpile right now. I have 0 city points. I know that. Capital One, my husband and I combined have, I think, around 250,000. Amex combined, we have around 400,000. Chase combined, I don't know. I think that we probably have around 2 to 250,000 Chase points combined. I have a ton of Southwest points currently. I think I have 180,000 Southwest points in my Southwest account. And I have a companion pass. So that's why I have the Grand Hyatt Kauai book, because I'm like, man, we could go to Hawaii, and I have a ton of Southwest points. I also have I have 150,000 Alaska miles currently, because I opened a couple of Alaska cards this year. No idea what I'm going to use those on.
Use those on like a really
I'm thinking
nice,
like Australia or Japan or something
yeah,
like
like
that.
not on a partner airline.
Yeah. And then American, we've got about 160,000 American miles combined. So I've got pretty, I mean, United miles, I have like 4,000. I have like no United miles. But yeah, my husband and I each opened a couple of those like American and Alaska co-branded business cards in 2023. So we've got pretty good stockpiles of those too. What about you, Alex? What do you have? Do you know?
Well,
And,
you
and
know,
I'm not breaking mine down. I'm just saying what I have total.
yeah. Well, I
Okay.
would have liked this. I would have liked this beforehand. I could have gotten you the exact number, but I last updated my spreadsheet back in August, like the end of August 2023. So that was a little while ago, and I've definitely booked some things in. Back then, I had like just under 3 million points.
Oh, that's a lot for having a family. That's amazing.
Yeah, but I know there's a lot less now. Like on here on the chart, it says I had 165,000 Southwest. I have like 8,000 now. Mitch has more than the chart says, but yeah, I mean, I would guess we have like maybe around 2 million, maybe a little bit more, but somewhere around that, just because we booked a few things since this came out. But I'm going to go and update my chart after this. But my guess would be about around just maybe a little bit more than 2 million.
Yeah. It makes it so nice to be
And
able to.
it makes it so nice because like I'm booked for a lot of 2024.
Mhm.
And
Exactly.
so that's why I don't feel a lot of stress of like, I've got to earn 2 million points this year. I mean, I would still gladly take 2 million points and earn 2 million points. But I like you said, I like having a healthy stockpile, because kind of what I'm thinking is, I subscribe to some of these business class award flights,
Right.
that send you alerts. And so I'd like to start trying to take advantage of more of those and kind of traveling off the deal when possible versus be like, hey, let's go on a trip. Here's the time that we can go. I mean, it's kind of tricky when you're going on like a girls' trip and you have to work with everyone's schedules. But yeah, that's how things are looking. They're looking pretty good.
Yeah. Well, I have, and I've always had a lot. And again, it's because I earn a lot and I get to use most of them for me because my husband doesn't want to travel as much as I do. So we have about a total of 3.8 million right now. And that always sounds insane. And, my husband will say, well, why aren't you using points and miles for that? Like my domestic flights. And it's because that sounds insane. But then you figure that, okay, 150,000 is in United. You've got 250,000 in Amex. Right now I have about 600,000 in Capital One because I've done those Capital One business cards. So they're all over the place, and maybe 70 in AA. So it's not like you can just go, oh, hey, I'm going to go stay at this place and I'm going to fly this airline. You have to work around your transfer partners and what cards you have. And so it sounds crazy amazing, but it's still
It is still crazy amazing.
yeah, but it's still a jigsaw puzzle to work out
Yeah.
when you're trying to book.
I know someone who would gladly accept some of those miles if you need to like offload some of them.
If you're feeling a
or-
little stressed, managing all those points.
Yeah, I'm pretty good. But it is so nice to know pretty much I can go wherever I want in the style I'd like to go at just because I've been playing this game.
Yeah,
So
no, I
rely
completely
on-
agree with you. Stockpiles are a huge thing. I mean, I just think of friends of mine that I'm like, oh, that'd be so fun to invite them to go on this trip. For example, if someone wanted to come with us to Greece, but then I'm like, they don't have points just sitting there. Like, it's, I don't know. You need to really plan those things in advance for your friends to get the points. And I don't really wait a year and a half for them to get the points. I'm like, sorry, we're going.
Next
So-
time we have a Travel Hacking Mom giveaway, we need to give away some of Pam's points. She has some to spare.
Laura's a little chintzy when it comes to her points, but it is really, and again, nobody look at what I have and say, whoa, I should have that many because I'm one person who's got two people earning them. When you have a family, it's just not going to go that far. You can easily use 500,000 points to book a trip to Europe with a family. So
Yeah.
it would go pretty quick that way.
All right. Well, we hope that you've enjoyed getting a sneak peek into what we've got planned for 2024. If you are ready to make 2024 the year of nearly free travel for you and your family, make sure to register for our free masterclass, How to Start Traveling for Nearly Free. We will link it in the show notes. Thanks so much for listening to the Travel Hacking Mom Show. Make sure to hit the subscribe or follow button from wherever you're listening so you never miss an episode. Want to start jet setting even faster? Follow the links in the show notes to learn about everything we discussed in today's episode. And to stay connected and follow along, follow us on Instagram at Travel Hacking Mom. We can't wait to see where in the world points and miles take you.